Straight ahead on 12 News, a mind for movies.
What's wrong with an A-?
You're staying home this weekend to study for finals.
The summer project that could turn into a Sundance smash. Plus, light rail controversy, why a proposed project through the Northwest Metro could grow more costly. But first, how a former football player's tackling skills came in handy.
If you can help somebody, you help them. That's just what you do.
12 News starts right now. A Rogers man takes the law into his own arms. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Johnson.
And I'm Shannon Slatton. Tuesday night, John Diker faced a situation where he knew he had to act. Diker tells our Renee Bonneau he did what came naturally to him.
Howie Long was my idol when I was growing up, so I took 75.
John Diker hasn't played football for about 8 years.
I played at high school, and I played in college up in Brainerd, and then I played summer pro football for the Central Minnesota Thunderbirds till I was like 30.
But Tuesday night, the 6'3", 270-pound former defensive end proved he's still got it. He was gassing up just after 11 p.m. at the Super America near I-94 and Highway 101 when he saw something suspicious.
Noticed a kid wearing like a black hoodie with a bandana, briskly walking like right across the parking lot.
He watched as the person held up the gas station clerk at gunpoint.
I drove up to try to block the door that he came out of. So that, after I did that, I yelled to the guy to call the police.
When the robber left the store, Diker chased him through the parking lot and took him down right here.
When I hit him, like we were airborne, like probably flew like 2 feet.
Diker held him until a police officer showed up, which was just moments later. Earlier that night, police got an alert saying an armed robber seemed to be targeting Super America stores in the metro. A Rogers police officer set up surveillance on this store and actually saw Diker tackle the robber. It turns out the robber had an airsoft gun. Still, Rogers police chief says civilians shouldn't be taking on armed suspects.
But I do have to commend him for his acts and his bravery in taking down what was an armed robber. That's unbelievable.
I just got road rash on my arm and elbow, and then actually on my feet.
Diker says he's no hero. He was just acting on instinct.
If you can help somebody, you help them. That's just what you do.
Renee Bonneau, 12 News.
Diker and the first responding officer will receive an award at the Rogers City Council meeting tonight. Meantime, police have arrested the 17-year-old robber from Fridley and a 17-year-old Shoreview girl who police say drove the getaway car.
A Brooklyn Center man was the victim of an armed robbery Wednesday night, and police say the incident happened right in his driveway. Brooklyn Center police responded to a report of a robbery in the 800 block of Bellevue Lane around 11 o'clock Wednesday night. Police say the homeowner was going to give a ride to an acquaintance and one of that person's friends. But when he opened his garage door, 2 more men confronted the homeowner, then all 4 proceeded to rob him. 2 were armed with guns. Police say the robbers took cash and a cell phone and fled the scene. Brooklyn Center police called in several agencies to help search the area for the suspects, but were unsuccessful.
We don't believe this was a random act. We do believe, because of the past relationships, that maybe these suspects had targeted this individual because maybe they were aware that he had something in his house or that he maybe at times carried money.
Right now, police only have a vague description of the robbers.
A man described as a phony-nosed bank robber has apparently struck again, this time in St. Louis Park. Police say he may also be responsible for robberies in Maple Grove and in Plymouth. Surveillance photos show the robber inside the U.S. Bank branch at Brierley's in St. Louis Park on Wednesday. The FBI says he wore makeup along with the fake nose. He also displayed a handgun. Authorities believe this was the second time he robbed the St. Louis Park Bank. A semi and a pickup truck collided in Maple Grove this morning, tangling rush hour traffic and sending at least 2 people to the hospital with serious injuries. It happened about 6 o'clock at the intersection of County Road 81 and Elm Creek Boulevard. A section of 81 was closed to traffic for 3 hours. Investigators say one of the trucks ran a red light. 2 people were thrown from the pickup truck. Police at the scene say neither was wearing a seatbelt and the passenger was pinned underneath the truck. First responders actually had to pick up the truck by hand to free that person. Both occupants of the pickup truck were rushed to the hospital. Their conditions and names have not been released.
A Brooklyn Park man with multiple DWI offenses has been caught again. This time he's charged with having a blood alcohol level of more than 3 times the legal limit. Mark Jacobson was arrested after witnesses called police saying there was a driver in a pickup truck passed out at a traffic light at Hemlock and Main Street. Police arrested the suspect a short time later, turning off of Weaver Lake Road. Jacobson was charged with first-degree driving while impaired. The charge carries up to a 7-year prison sentence. There is concern that light rail in the Northwest Metro could be delayed because of opposition to the proposed route.
County officials say they're working to answer questions raised by Golden Valley City Council members about light rail coming through a corner of the city. The 13-mile transit line would run from Minneapolis to Brooklyn Park. The Golden Valley objected to a plan that would bring the line through that city instead of North Minneapolis. The line would run alongside a nature area where a freight line already runs. Supporters point out light rail is much quieter than the trains that go through that area already. County officials say they are halfway through an environmental study which should address some of the council members' concerns. But at least one member we spoke with today doubts her vote will change.
I made my decision and I'm sticking with it. The place is the problem. It's not light rail. I believe in light rail, but not in a park, our open space. What are we going to leave for our children and grandchildren if we build all this up? And the neighbors over here, they don't want it.
If the Golden Valley opposition delays the project, county officials say the cost could go up because of inflation. That could make it more difficult to compete with other projects around the country for federal money.
It's the way Brooklyn Center residents have elected council members for the last 100 years, but that could change if a charter commission proposal is approved by voters this fall. A question on the November ballot will ask Brooklyn Center voters whether to change the current at-large system to a ward system. A ward system has council members representing distinct geographic areas of the city. Well, currently, each of the 4 council members represent the entire city. Dan Ryan says the change to a ward system is not needed because of Brooklyn Center's small size.
Must learn what the issues are in every corner of the city, and when elected, they will understand the challenges facing the whole city, not just the issues in one ward. That large representation on the council over the years has led to better decision-making.
Mayor and other council members agreed a change is not necessary. Councilmember Kay Lasman also says redistricting the wards could create further burdens. Even so, the city's charter commission has the authority to put the question on the November ballot.
The city of Osseo hopes to have a new full-time fire chief in place by September. This week, the city council approved a hiring process for the new chief. As you may recall, last April, the city council voted to fire its former chief, Mark Lynn, in a controversial 3-2 vote. Deputy Chief Pat McGrain is currently serving as interim fire chief. Coming up, what a Brooklyn Park teen decided to do with his birthday and Christmas money.
It's definitely an impressive back-to-school conversation starter. Then later in sports, Terry Tuma talks about live bait in his weekly Channel 12 fishing tip.
But first, here is your AccuWeather forecast.
A Brooklyn Park teenager has ambitious plans to make a movie and then enter it in the prestigious Sundance Film Festival.
But first, he plans to enter it as a summer project for a good grade. Today, we introduce you to this young filmmaker and the movie that's getting positive buzz.
You ready? Set. And action.
For Adam Jacobs, making a good movie
I mean, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker.
starts with a great title.
Weekend Hat, someone said that, like, put the 2 words together, and they're like, Adam, that's a great title for a movie. And I said, okay, I'll do it. Okay, ready? Go.
So starting on spring break, Adam
I thought, like, why wait for it?
started writing.
I just had, like, a lot of pages of notes and stuff, like scribbling things down and rearranging.
It's just a really crazy, exciting, adventurous comedy.
The result is a comedy about a senior in high school named Jonathan Alexander, who only has one friend.
What could possibly happen in one weekend?
But that weekend changed Jonathan's otherwise boring life.
Luke, he's playing Jonathan.
First of all, the film is just crazy.
He shows up in his underpants. There's a chase scene before this, and he loses his pants.
And it has elements of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay, we'll go first with you.
The movie is still in production with the scene shot this week at 7th Street Entry.
I feel like you should turn around like you just did.
As the writer, director, and producer, Adam Jacobs,
We got to get the noise of them hitting the ground.
is using Christmas and birthday money to fund the project.
I never like bought, gobstoppers when I was a kid or anything. I always saved up my money, so I had a couple grand saved up.
And says his major problem isn't finding shooting locations or even good talent. It's the timing of the shoots for the teenage cast.
Just waking up early enough to get to the shoot, that's the problem.
I'm a 17-year-old, so getting up at 8 in the morning is not the best thing, but it's worth it. I enjoy it.
You guys just circle around and push each other again like you were doing?
But Adam's classmates have rallied to help in his summer project.
He's invested pretty much his whole life into this film.
And they believe Weekend Hat and the brains behind it will go places.
I'm super excited. I think it's going to turn out really good, especially since it's actually a full feature film.
I trust Adam. I've seen some clips already, and it looks great.
I want them to be entertained. I want to change their perspective a little bit. Do a new take. I want them to be inspired, because the whole movie, it's made by high school.
Get up here. See Adam on the Oscars holding some big golden man. That would make my day.
Jonathan Alexander.
And when we say Adam has done just about everything for the movie, we mean it. He even bought snacks for the crew, which included baking chocolate chip cookies for everyone. So Mike, he's thought of a lot of things, including you can go to Weekend Hat's Facebook page to like them. And then there's also a website where you can donate to help fund part of the project and get your name in the credits.
And you mentioned Oscars. They're aiming pretty high.
That's down the road, but
Yeah.
Sundance, getting into Sundance would be pretty nice.
That would be. All right. Thank you. Well, coming up, how opportunity knocked for a North Memorial nurse.
It's one of those opportunities that changed her entire life. But first in sports, time to strap on the gear as we hit the field for our first high school football training camp report. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
John Jacobson with sports, and this is one of the days on the football calendar that is circled for football players.
Hard to believe it's here.
We can hit a little bit today, yeah. Guys are anxious to get out on the field and do that. The high school football preseason revs up today as the pads go on and teams start full contact drills. Here at Channel 12, we start our training camp reports. First stop, Osseo. Here's Jason Malillo.
The Osseo football team is usually known for offense, but this season, the Orioles will lean on a strong defensive line, led by seniors Lamar Wallace and Rakeem Felder.
Our defensive line is really tough. We haven't had that in a while. And 2 returning starters, 1 all-conference, and that's our focal point right now. Everything else is young, and jobs are up in the air.
We have a young team this year. We lost a lot of guys last year, but everybody on our team is willing to step up. Everybody wants to play, make that big hit, make the big play.
Osseo does have one bona fide playmaker on offense in Bridge Tussler, and Coach Lampeter expects to use Tussler in a variety of roles.
He's going to be everywhere. We're going to get him the ball as much as we can and have him play some D-back and punt return and kick return. And he's going to be a sore young man after Friday nights, but that's what you want.
At quarterback, senior Garrison Gillard and junior Matt Medke are battling for the starting job. And right now, there's no clear front runner.
Both are good kids, and they both bring different skill sets. And I can't tell you who's going to start right now, and that's not even a cliche or a lie. I don't know. I'm not hiding anything. So we'll find out here as the camp goes on and as our scrimmage takes place.
In 2011, Osseo finished with its best record in almost 20 years, but fell short in the section championship game and missed the state tournament. Getting that close and getting nothing has the Orioles hungry for a new season.
Everybody saw what we could do, saw how far we could go, and we were just that close to it. And, everybody wants to just make it all the way, so that's what we're working towards.
Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Here's the scoop on the Orioles. Their 9-2 record a year ago is the program's best since 1993. Darren Lampker enters his 8th season as the Orioles head coach with 6 starters back. They host Centennial in their season opener in 2 weeks. Local boxer Ismael Mwendo will be back in the ring next Saturday on a fight card at the Crown Plaza Hotel in St. Paul. Mwendo is undefeated with a 9-0 record, 7 of those wins coming by knockout. Mwendo will face veteran fighter Robert Duluth. Duluth does not have a great record, but he's a very tough fighter who should challenge Mwendo. The fight card will also feature Golden Valley heavyweight Aaron Green and welterweight Corey Rodriguez, who is a Cooper High School graduate. We'll have more on Mwendo next week here on 12 News as we preview his fight on the 25th. Keeping live bait fresh can be a big factor in how many live fish you catch. Here's pro angler Terry Tuma with this week's Channel 12 fishing tip.
to consistently catch walleyes throughout the summer and even sunfish, we have to take care of our night crawlers and our leeches. A big concern this year, especially with these warm temperatures, and to store, and I've had quite a few questions about this, to store night crawlers, just don't overcrowd them in that worm bedding. Use a foam container, a styrofoam container, so it can breathe, and you can purchase those. You can make your own, whatever you want to do. And then the biggest factor here is avoid overcrowding. Pick out the deadly, sickly ones about every 2 days. Just open up that cover and take them out. And then that refrigerator temperature should be about 40 degrees or 42 degrees. Now with leeches, what I do is I just take a plastic container, punch holes in the top for air, and then use non-chlorinated water. Again, 40 to 42 degrees in a refrigerator. And every other day, get those dead ones out or those sickly ones out, and at that same time you have to change water. Very, very important to continually change water. You can keep your leeches all summer long if you take care of them. Just sort of a little bit of a tip that's going to help us. Always remember, good healthy bait catches those walleyes, and we have to use it. If you're using bait that's just not very active, you're defeating the purpose completely, and just take care of those baits throughout the summer months, and especially with this type of weather. Be sure to tune next week for another tip. Release many of those fish you catch.
You got to be careful when you reach for a snack on the refrigerator what you grab. At least at Terry's house.
Yeah,
I
watch
think
it.
so. All right,
That's
thanks,
fun.
John. Still ahead, a North Memorial nurse who you likely won't recognize.
Find out about her life-changing experience when we come back. Oh, here's a look ahead to Friday's 12 News. Do you think you can't make a difference in your community? Well, wait until you meet a Plymouth woman. She's what you call a charter volunteer. Plus, a recycling story that we hope won't float away. We'll show you some interesting creations showing up on an area lake. And in sports, a look at the Park Center boys soccer team and their new head coach. Those stories and more right here Friday beginning at 4. Well, a nurse at North Memorial Medical Center in Robbinsdale received some special recognition.
Cardiovascular unit nurse Michelle Williams was named a winner in the OptiFast New You weight loss contest. She started off at 265 pounds, but thanks to the hospital's supervised weight loss program, she dropped 95 pounds. The program lasts 18 weeks and exists solely for North Memorial employees.
I mean, really, we paid for the supplements, and that's about it. And all the other stuff, North Memorial took care of. And I don't know of anybody else that has that opportunity. So, I mean, I'm lucky I got to utilize it, really.
Williams also received a trip to New York and a $500 shopping spree. So good for her.
Best of all, 95 pounds gone.
I know.
Isn't that great?
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And that's all the news we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Stay with us. Community Corner is coming up next, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow beginning at 4.